I am just cold, so I'm snuggled up in my robe. Um, so today I am going to be working on, we are going to be working on part 3 of the Servitor Series. And I am just going to wait a few minutes for everybody to get in chat. And while we're waiting, I am going to go over a warning that I'm going to probably give in every video. Okay. The spell is time consuming and can be very tiring. You have to decide if it's worth it to you. You'll need a lot of ingredients. Gather them when cleaning on the first 3 days. Where is my other warning? Yes. Creating a servitor thought form is not done lightly. He or she becomes a living, breathing energy in the astral or altar realm. It will need altar space and offerings. It will need to be kept fed. It needs to be praised and given attention and energy. There will be a compact between you. Don't offer what you cannot give. You can make the poppet out of clay, corn husk, grass, wheat, sage, cotton, cloth. Anything natural works best. You can also use a baby doll. You'll be spending about 30 minutes to an hour with your servitor a day. Make sure you're healthy enough to give that energy each day. Hi, Rochelle. Hey, Johnny. I was just going over a warning. I'm probably going to read that every time. How are you doing, Rochelle? And how are you, Johnny? I'm good. I'm cold. So I put on my robe. It's the lightest, warmest thing I have. So I didn't want to put my heavy coat on. Oh, good. I'm glad you're good. And Johnny, I'm glad you're doing great. I am a little bit early. Sometimes it takes a while for my my notices to get out, and I want to make sure everybody has a chance to get in. So I was going over the warning, and I'm going to go over the list of everything we want to have done before we start with the first part of working with the servitor. You need to have decided on in what he is going to reside, be it a poppet, a baby doll, a corn doll, just whatever you have made or taken for the poppet to live in. You want to make sure that you have the servitor's food, whether it's wine, herbs, whether it is, hey Jess, whether it's a drop of your blood, whether it's a candle, whether you plan on charging him in the sunlight or in the moonlight. It is important that you know what you're going to feed your servitor and that you have a supply of whatever it is you're going to feed your servitor. You want to go ahead and make the pinnacle wherever he is, your servitor will be residing. So you want to draw the pinnacle. It's like a sigil of protection for him. And this is something that will be kept with the servitor. We talked about putting a sigil for his name on the doll. So you need to go ahead and put your sigil on the doll where it cannot be seen, and activate it however you want to do that. Okay, I'll show you. This is his serving dish, and right now it has wine in it, and it's his wine. It has his herbs in it, and it's just a little bit in the bottom, probably about this much wine. Also, if I give him herbs, it is like a small palmful of herbs. If I am giving him blood, which is probably about once a month, it's only 2 or 3 drops on his sigil. If I keep his candle lit. That is something I keep done all the time, is I keep his candle lit. Hi, Gomez, honey. So his candle stays lit, and that is what I feed my servitor. I give him wine probably once a month. I give him herbs once a week. I give him blood once a month, and he also feeds off his candle. No, not when I sleep. During the day, I'll show you. Oops. Like, okay. No. Okay, so as you can see, his candle is lit right now. And as long as I'm up and with him, it is lit. I also have a protection candle, a working candle, and my ancestor candle, which all stay lit when I'm up. I do put all of them out before I go to sleep. Also, I sometimes charge him under the full moon. And sometimes, depending on what he is doing, or what project I have him doing, I will charge him under the dark moon or the new moon. I am scared to leave candles going while I sleep. So, no candles in my house burned while I sleep, ever. How are you doing today, Jess and Gomez? I know, right? Even in a bowl of water, I'm scared. I'm just scared. I can't do it. Yeah, no, I don't. Not while I sleep. But when I'm up, his candle's lit. Well, that's not always true either. His candle is lit when I am in here with him. Sometimes I lay down during the day, and if I do, I snuff my candles out. Ooh, that sounds good, Jess. I am really good. I am kicking my cold. I just have the cough. I'm working on it. Okay, I was hoping that Emma would show up. Oh, good, Gomez. I'm glad, honey. Because Emma's the one that really wanted me to do this series, but she can watch it back, right? All right. So you want to make sure your herbs that you plan on feeding him, you've got those. The wine, if you're planning on giving him wine, his stones are charged and ready to go. You want to, if you're using a pinnacle for protection, you want that activated. You can activate it in oil. The Witch's Shield is a good one to activate it with. You can have protection oil that you have made. Full moon oil if you have it, or the moon oil if you have that, because he's really going to be birthed in the 8th day, right? And you want to make sure you have the time to give him the attention and energy that he needs daily. Oh, Jess, be careful, honey. Yep, I do too, Jess. Alrighty, you guys. So, we're going to go ahead and start lesson 3. Okay, you guys, so you have your poppet made. You have done all of your cleansing work. You have taken a ritual bath, okay? You're going to start work on your servitor today. Or, the day that you're going to do it. You are going to need parchment and parchment paper and a pen. You want to have already worked out what his name and sigil are going to be, you guys. Hang on one second. I've missed something somewhere. Okay. Alright. So you need your parchment pen. You need your doll baby, whatever you're using. You need whatever herbs you're going to put in on the first day. And that is your choice of herbs. Okay? You need whatever stones you're going to put in the first day. And it can be stone chips. Okay? You're going to need your candle. And you're going to need his candle. You're going to be making a formal circle. So for you, if that means calling in the elements, you're going to need an earth element, air, fire, and water elements. Something to represent each one. And you already have his food, wine, herbs, all that's already made. So the first day is going to be about intentions and goals. So you kind of want herbs that represent that represent your intention and goals for him. Herbs and stones that represent, the intentions and goals for him. So that is the very first thing we talked about today. You have to give him boundaries. Okay, intentions and goals. What is his purpose? Okay, that's the first thing. And I would suggest doing a rough draft before you do the parchment. So you need regular paper also, lined paper, or you could just write it on parchment. It doesn't matter. But you're going to need to tell him in his contract what the intent, what is his intent, what is he being made for, what is his goals, and what are his boundaries. Okay? These are the first things that are going to go in the contract. It's the first things we talk about, discuss, write a draft about. Is he going to be a protection servitor? Is he going to be a warrior servitor? All men need boundaries. Yep, and all servitors do also. Yes, you are indeed making a contract with your servitor. Yes. But it's more than just a contract. It is a compact. You don't put anything into this contract or compact that you have not thought about and completely agree with 100%. If you're not sure, do not put it in this compact because you don't want to break it, okay? You want to, okay, if he is a protector, you may want to say, you will protect me and my family from financial harm, from physical harm, from spiritual harm. Okay? Your intent, your goal, your priority is protecting the family. Actually, yes, you really do have to think about your words. But it has a lot to do with your intent. You're pouring your intent, your energy into this servitor. This servitor is made up of your energy, your intent. That is another reason you need to do a formal circle to keep anything out that might get into this servitor that you're giving permission to live in this object, okay? You want to make sure it's your energy. No, okay, I'm not going to say no. I've never heard of a servitor turning against anyone in real life. I've never heard in real life of a servitor turning against its maker because it is your energy that you're putting into it. and you give it boundaries that it cannot cross. That's why boundaries are so important. First, we talk about intent. What is your intent for the servitor? What is the servitor's purpose? What is the goal of creating that servitor? Because that is the energy you will be pouring into it. Is this servitor going to draw in customers? Is it going to help you with your business, with your finances, with money? Is this servitor going to be looking for your love, your soulmate? Is this servitor going to be protecting your children, your dogs, your cats? Is this servitor going to be protecting the family? What is the intent that you are pouring into this servitor? Okay, you are creating this energy form. It is your energy, and you are pouring into it your intent, his purpose, and the goal. Okay, not only are you spending time with a rough draft, pouring your intent into every single word, and when you copy it to the compact or to the contract, it will be the same intent you pour into every single word. So the first thing we're going to do is come up with the purpose and goal of the servitor. The second thing we're going to do is come up with the boundaries of the servitor. I would have, I've heard of servitors being created for like a day, a month, a week, and then they're dissolved. And those types, you can make them for different things. My personal servitor is a protector, and his job is to protect the family against financial ruin, physical, spiritual, any kind of attackers that want to attack our family. Hey, Emma, you haven't missed it, sweetheart. We're just going over day number 1, and that is intent and goal of the servitor. That is the first thing we want to make a rough draft of, the purpose of the servitor and the boundaries of your servitor. So you are giving him purpose. You are telling him what it is his job to do. Make a rough draft first, then you want to write it onto the contract or compact. Give him boundaries. If you want to make a servitor to live 1 day or 1 week or 1 month, absolutely you need an end date. We'll go over that later. But yes, you will need an end date for him, or her. So you can be thinking about that. I will tell you, my servitor is not made with an end date. My servitor was made to pass down from generation to generation until my last descendant is dead. And that is the way I have created mine. But they absolutely can have an end date. What I have done is very unusual. Yes. And remember, after you do your intents, your goals, and your boundaries, okay? And make sure you do include boundaries, you guys. Like, he must dwell in this object unless you send him to do such and such at such and such a place. If I send you, may only leave this object by my permission and go only where I command you to go. That would be a good boundary. I gave my servitor those types of boundaries. No, you really must give your servitor praise for something, whatever he has done right. You can spend time with your servitor. It is actually a wonderful thing to do, is to spend time with your servitor. You can talk to your servitor. When it has protected you, when it has done something right, you need to give it praise. You need to feed him. You need to talk to him every day. You need to put energy into him every day. Every day. So it is important to do your intent, your purpose, or the servitor's purpose and goals, and you want to give him boundaries of what he is and is not allowed to do. Like my servitor, if he protects us from an attack, he's allowed to feed off of whatever he has protected us from, but he's not allowed to harm anyone he's protected us from. It is a big commitment, yes. Exactly. You do not want anyone else in the object the servitor is occupying. Absolutely not. You are feeding the servitor. It is made up of your energy. It is not a separate entity that you're inviting into this object, which is why I said you need a formal circle to keep any and everything out of this object that you are pouring your energy into. For you're creating an energy form, a thought form, and you don't want anything else, any spirit jumping in your thought form that you're creating. So it is really important to have a formal circle. So we were talking about boundaries. It is important that you have boundaries for your servitor. The herbs you use gives him the traits and personality that he is going to have. That and the intent that you pour into him. If you have to leave for a few days, make sure you give him his wine or his herbs, and he should be absolutely fine. I do not consider a servitor like a golem. No. Oh no. Hang on a second, you guys. I've got to go get my charger. Sorry guys, bear with me a minute. Okay, sorry. Okay, guys, I'm back. I don't know what anybody typed while I was doing that. I am so sorry. Okay, boundaries. That is another reason I told you guys you really need to think about these things. About what, about your purpose for creating your servitor and the boundaries. Because you want to know these before you, you want to know these, you want to gather the different herbs that have the different properties for his personality, his creation, his what matches to what you want for your servitor. If you wanted him to guard your finances, you may use oranges for business success. And if you wanted him to help you with third eye work, help you with meditation, come to you during meditation, you might use eye bright and amethyst and purple candles, where my candles are black for protection. If you want your servitor to be a warrior, you may look up herbs associated with fire, and like cayenne pepper, black pepper, what grains of paradise, anything that would be involved, seen as a fire element. You might want to add those kind of herbs. For protection herbs, you might want to add cinnamon or my mind just blanked. Rosemary, dragon's blood. So it depends what you give your servitor. Depends on what kind of servitor you have. So you need to look up those correspondences. It's really important. When you set boundaries for your servitor, maybe there are herbs for setting up those boundaries, like licorice root. Licorice root is a dominating herb. And if you want your servitor to love you, first of all, you would give him that positive reinforcement all the time that he's going to need. You would also maybe put in rose quartz. So he has that element of love. For you, for your family, however it is you want that to go. If you want him to be homebound and never be able to leave your home, you give him that boundary. You tell him, okay, you're never allowed to leave the property, the house, the room, the object. You will also need a way to communicate with your servitor. This is how I communicate with my servitor. This is his. I use it for nothing else but communication with my servitor. That's it. And you will need something that you can communicate with your servitor with. Just you and just him and nothing and no one else. I know Emma. And before I created my servitor, I had a harder time getting my mind around thought forms. But like my personal struggle that I'm going through with thought forms. And I was going through that before I created my servitor. Yeah. So servitors are energy. They are your energy. I believe over time they can become sentient. And I think that thought forms can evolve and become more over time. And to me, that is what I consider deities, thought forms that have evolved and become more over time. So that is our topic and lesson for today. Do a rough draft of your intent, your purpose for creating him, goals, and boundaries. I hear you, Emma. Heather, did you ask me anything else after you asked about the golem? I don't see why not, Emma. Mine is in human form. And it's whatever you see that energy as. So if you see that energy as a cat, then absolutely it could be a cat. if you just make sure that what you ask of it isn't beyond the range of a cat. Oh, okay, Heather, I got you. I got you, hun. A servitor is really your own energy that you're building. Oh, you're welcome, hun. A golem is like taking an animal and making it, giving it human traits, kind of feeding energy into it so that it can become more. And that's the way I understand it. So, intent, purpose, and goals of the servitor. Boundaries. So, think about those. If you're really considering doing this, I would suggest sitting down, doing a rough draft, doing another one. Make sure you cover everything you can think of to cover. Hey, baby girl. I know. I just realized it.
Want me to put
I had to run in there and get my charger. Yes.
Yeah, I'll put him back up.
Okay.
They pulled down.
I'm
the
recording.
Bed, and the girls pulled it down for him so he could lay on it.
Okay. Well, take him in there, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
No,
That's the dirty doggy bed, Mom.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, I'm not either. Especially about Jewish religion. I'm like no expert at all. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. I appreciate it. And, oh, that's good. I'm no expert. I have created one servitor, and this is the way I did it, and it's the only way I know to teach someone how to do it is to work from my own experience, to tell you what I did to create it. So if anyone else has made a servitor, and it's hard to find information on. When I was creating mine, I had a really hard time finding information. So a lot of mine was done intuitively, because I just, there wasn't much information to find. I know other people have done it, but they're not sharing. And so I'm sharing, but like I said, I'm no expert. Heather, I am not sure. I know it is a form of witchcraft. I'm not an expert on Wicca. I am pretty sure a Wicca practicing person would not make a servitor. It's kind of like that gray magic. I do not know. I could not tell you. What I can tell you is that in China, they made servitors out of clay. And so you might want to look towards the Chinese for that. Hoodoo and voodoo. Hoodoo does the doll babies, and voodoo does voodoo dolls. These are not the same as voodoo dolls. They're not the same as hoodoo dolls. They're not the same. Okay, well, you may want to think about looking towards the Chinese for that then, because they had clay statues as protectors that they believed come alive to protect them. Kind of, Jess, yes. No, there's not much info. And it's definitely a voodoo doll and a hoodoo doll are made in representation of someone, a living person. The servitors are not made in representation of a living person. I'm just a witch. I have no religion at all. Hoodoo is also a religion. It is a mix between the Catholic and witchcraft. Yes, hoodoo is a religion. Oh, wow. Okay, so Shadow Witch says that they are a tradition in witchcraft, which I did not find doing my research, so I don't know. But they do not represent a person. Yes, hoodoo is a religion. I, I'm, I don't know. I'm kind of confused in my spirituality right now. But where doll babies represent someone, and you can work healing or bad things, okay, hexing on doll babies. These are different. These are being created from you, from your energy, from within you. I'm just a witch. I'm just a witch. I do not claim any formal religion, not even paganism. I'm just a witch. That is so true, Heather. I kind of like things simple. I like to, I don't know, formal religion just never looked appetizing to me. And I'm not going to worship. I don't know. I will stick to my witchcraft and be happy. I'm very happy with my witchcraft. I'm very happy with what I can do. I'm very happy with what I can see. I'm I was born into a witchy family, and besides Christianity, which I was forced to endure for 4 years, I really have no desire to. I've never been any other formal religion, and have no desire to be in a formal religion. Oh, honey, yes, everybody I'm sure will. So I will close this up. Thanks, Rochelle, for letting us know. I'm going to close this up so you guys can go on over to the crystal cell. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Have a blessed day. Blessings on everyone. You too, honey. Have fun at the cell. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful, blessed day.